I felt a mix of nerves and excitement as I soaked in the vibe at this upscale restaurant in Miami Beach. My husband sat next to me, his presence always grounding me like an anchor, while across the table was my father-in-law, who'd somehow become the unexpected star of my attention. The dim lights cast a cozy, classy glow over everything, and the soft jazz piano in the background added just the right touch of romance to the evening. But my chill vibe got shattered by one thing: my father-in-law's stare. Despite the gorgeous setup, fresh orchids, flickering candles, his eyes kept drifting way past the ambience. I caught him checking out my neckline, and no matter how hard I tried to play it cool, a knot of unease started twisting in my gut. The dress I had on was sleek and bold, hugging my curves in all the right ways. The silky fabric brushed against my skin, dialing up the sensuality of the night. It was a little black number, fitted just enough to tease without giving everything away, and it was clearly pulling his focus even more. As we dug into the chef's killer dishes, I kept noticing his gaze sliding back to me, stirring up a messy cocktail of feelings inside. My heart was pounding, and I couldn't help wondering if this was all in my head or if there was something deeper behind those sneaky glances. The clink of silverware on plates and the soft pop of wine corks mixed with the low hum of jazz and nearby chatter. I tried focusing on my husband's conversation, but it was tough when my father-in-law's expression carried an intensity that went way beyond casual appreciation. The moonlight spilled onto the golden sand outside, throwing silvery sparkles that danced around us. Suddenly, I felt my husband's gentle touch, his finger tracing down my back, slow and sweet. Goosebumps shot across my skin, and my body leaned forward instinctively, craving that connection with him, totally oblivious to my father-in-law's watchful eyes. In that split second, our gazes locked, and shock flashed across his face. My husband, trying to break the awkward moment, grinned and said, "Babe, that dress looks fire on you." The air got thicker, and I saw my father-in-law's eyes widen at his son's words, like they confirmed exactly what he was thinking. He quickly looked down at the table to play it off, but the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. I was swirling in confusion and unease, wondering how the hell to read this whole situation. What started as a thrilling night out had turned into a game of loaded glances and bottled-up emotions, leaving a trail of restlessness in my mind. As the minutes ticked by, the restaurant started emptying out, getting quieter and quieter. The spotless tables and perfectly aligned chairs made it feel like the place was holding its breath for whatever drama was coming. It was just my husband, my father-in-law, and me left. We ordered another bottle of red to keep the celebration going, but with every sip, the vibe got heavier, like the wine was uncorking buried secrets. In the dim glow of the night, my husband's eyes glassy from the booze, the courage he'd bottled up for years finally spilled out. He locked eyes with his dad, whose face showed a mix of shock and resignation. The words hit the silence like a sledgehammer. "I need to hear it from you. Why the hell did you ditch me?" my husband blurted, ripping through the quiet. "I get that you stopped loving Mom, but forgetting about me? I didn't do anything to deserve that." The weight of his words hung in the air, echoing in our souls. My father-in-law, way more clear-headed than my husband right then, answered calmly, "I want to explain, but not like this, not when you're half out of it. Whatever I say is gonna hurt you right now." My husband, raw and broken, crumbled into tears. "Why don't you just admit you never loved me either?" he choked out, his heart shattered. But then a spark of resolve flickered in his eyes. "I'm gonna be better than you," he went on, voice cracking. "I'm gonna show my kid how much I love him and make damn sure he never wants for anything." His vow cut through the restaurant's stillness like a promise sworn in the dark. My father-in-law watched him with pity, trying to calm the emotional storm. "Easy, man. Let's just toast and enjoy tonight. Tomorrow's another day." But the storm in my husband's heart didn't let up. His face shifted from sadness to pure rage. He lost it, and I could feel the chaos coming. I grabbed his arm tight and dragged him toward the exit, leaving the restaurant in heavy silence, carrying unspoken words and ghosts from the past. Our hotel room was waiting, cloaked in shadows and thick with the uncertainty still lingering in the air. The mirror on the dresser showed a woman with wind-tossed hair and eyes hinting at melancholy. These vacations weren't going how I'd pictured, but something in the air made me feel alive, on edge. I decided to step out for a breather, leaving my husband passed out on the bed, fighting the hangover from all those drinks. I caught my reflection and saw a gorgeous, captivating woman. Even if the trip wasn't perfect, I found some joy in just being there. The ocean's whisper slipped through the curtains, weaving a soft symphony in the room. The salty breeze filled the air, and waves crashed against the shore in a melodic rhythm. I slipped out quietly, giving my husband space to sleep it off. As I opened the door, I nearly jumped out of my skin. My father-in-law was standing there, about to knock. "Sorry," he said, looking genuinely apologetic. "Just wanted to check if you're okay." "I'm really sorry your husband couldn't keep it together." I glanced down the hallway, fishing for an excuse to dodge the awkwardness. But he gently asked, "You heading somewhere?" "Yeah," I said, trying to mask my surprise. "Just need some fresh air." He paused, then asked with a shy edge, "Mind if I tag along?" "If it's cool with you." I hesitated, weighing the weirdness of it. Finally, I nodded with a forced smile. Sure, I was just gonna walk on the beach for a bit. A few months earlier, my husband had decided to reconnect with his dad, a guy who'd been a total mystery to me until then. My father-in-law stepped out of the past like a stranger, ready to unravel hidden truths and open doors to a world I'd never known. When I met him, I was blown away by his presence. The guy was tall, commanding respect, with light brown eyes that held a mix of experience and intrigue. Every silver strand in his hair and beard added a layer of wisdom, like each one told a story only he knew. His cushy lifestyle let him dress sharp, hiding his 50 years like a pro. His tailored clothes were an extension of his enigmatic vibe, polished but secretive. The first time I saw him was in his living room, filled with creaky antique furniture. The fireplace crackled, giving off a cozy but slightly eerie feel. I only knew bits and pieces of his past, his choices, his reasons for cutting ties with his son. To me, he wasn't really my father-in-law yet. It was like I could convince myself I could do anything with him. We walked barefoot along the shore, letting the ocean breeze kiss our faces. My father-in-law broke the silence with a question that hung in the air like a seagull hunting for answers. "How'd you and your husband meet?" he asked, his eyes crinkling with curiosity and a hint of playfulness. I smiled, lost in memories of those early days when love felt as fresh as the breeze around us. "We met in high school," I said. "We were super young, fell hard, and eventually decided to build a life together." My toes played in the sand as I spoke. He nodded, like he was savoring every word. "So you're telling me he was your first boyfriend, and you were his?" I nodded with a knowing grin, feeling the echo of that innocent, pure love still alive in us. "Yup. We're each other's first and only love," I said proudly, the ocean's whisper backing me up. "Wow," he murmured, genuinely impressed. "That's real love. Your lips only know each other's." His words floated on the breeze, poetic and fleeting, blending with the ocean's hum. "But don't call me sir or father-in-law, makes me feel ancient," he joked, lightening the mood. We both laughed, the sound mixing with the sea's gentle roar. "I know I'm getting up there," he admitted with a sheepish grin, "but at least lie to me a little." We locked eyes, sharing a fleeting moment where generations connected in warmth and understanding. "So what should I call you then?" I teased, playful but bold. He thought for a second. "My name, maybe," he said humbly. "That'd make me feel a bit better." I nodded, feeling our chat weaving a tighter bond, like the waves that never stop hugging the shore. About 10 yards away was a beach bar, its catchy music cutting through the crowd's buzz. Laughter, chatter, and clinking glasses created a lively symphony we got swept into. My father-in-law, with a mischievous glint in his eye, grabbed my hand firmly. "Come on, let's shake off the dust," he whispered in my ear, his voice blending with the upbeat tunes. I let him lead me, almost dragging me through the crowd to where the music hit its peak. Neon lights flashed over us, painting fleeting colors on our faces. The beat was infectious, pulling us in. He grinned and asked, "What do you want to drink?" My eyes scanned the options as the music pulsed through me. "Something strong," I said with a nervous laugh. He nodded and went to order. The lights kept flickering, casting glows on our faces. The music cranked up, and we got lost in it. He came back with 2 glasses, both glowing with golden liquid that promised to toss every rule out the window. The first sip was a burst of bold flavors, mixed with the high of the moment. We danced, laughing and moving like we didn't have a care, letting the night's magic take over. Time blurred with every drink, and we sank into the buzz of dancing and giggles, reality fading until we forgot ourselves. The party's chaos became a backdrop, and in that corner of music and flashing lights, we gave in to the night's spell, letting the unknown pull us past reason and sanity. The sound of pounding echoed in the small hotel room, mixed with the wind sneaking through the cracked window. My heart raced like a drum signaling a storm. My hands shook as I grabbed my stuff, clothes that hours ago were strewn by the door. "Dad, can you open up for a sec?" My husband's voice cut through the air, laced with worry and frustration. A chill ran down my spine when I realized my father-in-law was right beside me. His strong hand landed on my shoulder, his low, calm voice telling me to chill. He nodded toward the bathroom, like a partner in this dangerous game. As I scrambled into my dress, reality hit me like a chaotic puzzle. I darted around the cramped room, feeling the walls closing in like a maze. My father-in-law, with an understanding look, guided me to the bathroom, where the tiny space felt even tighter, trapping me in my choices. "Relax," he whispered, his voice echoing with complicity and guilt. My husband's words seeped through the closed door, accusing me without knowing it. "I'm looking for my wife," he said. "I don't remember anything from last night, and maybe she's pissed at me. I just want to know what really went down." My father-in-law, cool as ever, suggested places I might be, his face tight with discomfort. Then he told my husband to call me. "Good idea, Dad," my husband said. Why didn't I think of that? I rummaged for my phone, but it was gone. Panic clawed at me as my husband dialed from the room's phone. The ringtone blared, trapped under my father-in-law's bed. My husband, freaked out, asked why my phone was there. His dad's silence charged the room with tension. Then my husband's eyes locked on the bathroom, spotting my hiding place. Rage flared in his gaze, and he grabbed my hair, yanking hard. My father-in-law jumped in, trying to calm things, but he caught some of my husband's wild swings too. What was supposed to be a dream vacation crashed into the bitterness of betrayal, leaving a painful end to what once seemed like perfect love. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about your in-laws. I'm saying there's a line. If the conversation crosses into sketchy territory, you gotta shut it down and make it clear to your father-in-law or mother-in-law that it's not okay. A real in-law looks out for their family's happiness and keeps things on track.